Continuation here of fitting the nose parts for the Daytona Tribute, and what I found is a few little minor adjustments in putting the nose up against the, I guess, the tray here. The holes, this needs to come in tighter. This line here, it touches on the ends and then it kind of bows. It's not touching. So that makes these holes not line up perfect. So I've marked, I'm going to sand, grind out a little bit to bring this up, which will bring this in snug. So got to do that, and it's kind of the same situation down here. That where the clamps are, that bottom piece won't go all the way up against the radiator support. So there are a few, or a little bit needs to be taken off that flange to make that fit better. But other than that, I think we're doing real good. This is my fender matching up to the lower valance. This will come up. I've got to change the angle of the bottom of the fender a little bit. But other than that, it's fitting real nice. Of course, all that we've already fit once, and that turned out real good. But just getting some dry fit here before I take it apart. I don't really want to prime or do much sanding on these until I know everything's working real well. One thing for sure too is, I don't know if you can see very well in here, this Z bracket has to be drilled through and married up with the nose, and it's got some gaps, which I have some spacers here. They're made out of a vinyl PVC type of material. That will make up for the gap, which is quite a bit here. I mean, that will go over just a little, but it still needs to be forward just a little bit, and I'm probably going to fit that up off the car and then put the whole piece on as one piece with the Z brackets on the nose. So a lot of little nitpicky stuff to do on the nose yet, but it's all going together pretty good. So till next time, bye bye. Hey, welcome to Clark's Place. Today I'm just going to run over a few things that we did, me and Doug, last Sunday, I guess it was. Trying to fit the front nose on the Charger body and make sure we got all the holes drilled and everything's in place as it should be, and our gaps are going to be okay. So what we did first is get it up on the frame. I guess you'd call these frame rail extensions. That is where the rotisserie was mounted to, and of course the front bumper. So I had to take it off the rotisserie, which is sitting right there. I'll put it back on it when we paint, because the nose will have to come off. And my question from Grant Janik was, how does this go together here? We've got your front nose that comes over this support piece, which has adjustment back and forth, so, which is nice. And then you have this big lower valance that also has a lip, and you can't go lip to lip. It leaves a gap. Well, I mean, it can lay over the top, but it leaves a gap. So my question was, do one of these need to be cut off which I guess the answer is no. There is a gap, because that gap continues all the way around, and it's the gap between your fender and your nose piece. So that makes sense. So I just have to make sure I've got this incorrect, or is it flipped? It steps up or steps down. I'll have to look in the pictures that he sent and go from there. These pieces were, let's see if I can get up in here. We did take and where the Z brackets bolt. It's too dark. Maybe on this side. Yeah, hang on. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, the Z bracket has bolts. Sorry, I keep banging into things. That the nose comes up inside and fits pretty tight. Of course, you got your holes cut out for the box for the light, and then you got your front piece up here that holds your you know, your running lights or whatever, the Valiant lights, and then your screen. But those have been bolted in on both sides, so we're good to go there. We may have to take it all apart to paint it, but those are in. We've got just makeshift bolts here and there. Fenders are mounted where they should be. Fenders are, we don't have one here. There is some play for it to move, and this, of course, to come up. But this piece here as well, it's bolted here. They didn't line up perfect, so we shaved just a little bit off of this so this would fit tighter and have these holes line up better, which they weren't very far off, but now they're fine. And these holes were fine. This part gets welded to the core support. Once we get it all set, I don't know if it'll be out just a little bit, or if we still need to go in further. There's a little play in this. Hopefully we won't have to shave any of the metal off before we weld. And we've got to grind and clean all that up before we do any welding as well. We had to cut some of this because the fender did not want to come over. Now it will. And this is where you have to cut out on your 70 fenders to fit onto the 69 front engine compartment and front core support. So that's where we are. All looking good. All this is in real good. Just going to scuff it up, probably get primer on it, and see how we look. I know there's a place right here I still need to sand. This side went in real nice. You see I can bring that up, and of course can pull it out some for the gasket to go in there. And surprisingly, this fender's in pretty good shape for being able to find a 70. So that's where we are. There's the big valance underneath. It seems to go in real well. I think I've drilled out, yeah, I've drilled out the holes that were marked, but I have not drilled out under the fenders. I want to get it clamped, mark and drill, so I don't have 15 holes until I get it all adjusted. But they fit real nice, side to side. I mean, you got plenty of pull-in power. I have cut off the bottom of the fenders and Moultrie this last week. There's the one I cut off. As you can see, it's Swiss cheese, just not good. And AMD makes full. What we did is we put this up on the fender and marked it So it's identical to that, because we will butt weld it. And they also come with the inner support piece. So everything that you see here, we have for both sides. That'll be another project that we'll video on how well that went together. So that kind of gets up to date where we have been. I did some sanding, I think, on the nose. I think it was shaving these, and of course I had my safety glasses or whatever on, but I should have had my goggles, which these are dirty, but I got a whole case of them to keep fiberglass and stuff out of my face. And I got a little something in my eye, had to go and have them poke it out or grab it, but no big deal. So haven't been working on it for a couple days, but get back on it this week. Tomorrow, probably get some more work done, getting the fenders off and seeing where the welding is going to take place, get that all set up, get the welder back out, and probably this weekend we'll get it welded. So that's pretty much the update. Have a good one, and until next time. Worked a little bit today on the front nose and lower valance, package tray, all that stuff fitting correctly. Did a little bit of that on Sunday, but we didn't quite get it dialed in. I now have all these. This will be welded. These are all lined up. My main concern was this package, or this lower valance. It matches up with the fenders. There's a little bit of sanding to do there to make that turn out okay, but I've got a few bolts in to hold it. But the way this matches up, I'm just not sure if that gap carries on. I know there's a gasket goes in there, but I'm not sure if that carries through to the bottom. I think it does, because if this were all brought in tight on the bottom, then it would be an angled, it wouldn't be a gap, it wouldn't look right. But for the most part, all this is going together. This still has work to do. Same on this side. The actual fender could come out just a little, and that could go down just a little. But I just have them clamped in there. As you can see, there's just some clamps holding, but for the most part, this has to be cut off, because I had to rebuild the whole bottom of this fender. After you cut it off, you bend it under. I think I cut some metal out, welded more metal in. So those will get matched up perfect, and holes drilled to where that's all brought up. Probably about every 4 inches I'll put a bolt, so that will go nowhere. Of course, all these will have the lock pieces. Well, not lock, but the capture brackets will go on where I can. I'm sure that some of these areas here, you can put these clips on, put the clips on this way and run it. Same with that on the metal. So you can take it off, put it back on. You're not trying to reach around and put a nut on the back of it. Right now, a lot of these have nuts on them. Some of them, I just have them stuck in there for reference. Just make sure they all line up. But I think for the most part, it's looking good. Next is, I think we've already fitted it once, but I want to throw the hood on when I get help and make sure that gaps are all looking good. It should come all the way forward and all the way to the back here. I don't have this tight either. I mean, it changes how things go together when all this is pulled in, pulled up. Obviously, those of you who have worked on the cars know that. So we're coming along. First, actually second or third dry fit is looking pretty good, and we'll see how it turns out tomorrow or Saturday. So that's all for now. Take care. Bye-bye. Today I'm going to get a couple parts ready for powder coating, and they are support pieces for the Daytona front nose, which should be able to show you here. I've taken all the parts off so I can put it back on the rotisserie. I need the attachment location to be able to put it on the rotisserie and finish all the work, which I've got to do the welding and working on the fenders anyway. And the nose, I want to get it sanded and primed as well. I was able to leave all the brackets, everything kind of in place, which I should be able to tighten all this stuff up and be finished with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these support pieces, which you can see they're a little bit corroded, which a lot on that side. So I'm going to have to sand them. This one's not bad. There's some on this side. So I'm going to sand these and then get them powder coated black, and then start working back on the body. So I'll put it on time lapse and we'll go from there. Okay, finished sanding. What I had to do was take the rougher sandpaper and air to get most of the corrosion off, and it left swirl marks, so I wanted to go back with the paper and take those out. Not that it's going to really show up, because I ain't going to powder coat them, but sometimes they do show up, and I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to get a good thick coat on them. I will still, since I've been touching them, I'll use Prep Sol all on them, hang them up, and they'll be nice and clean, no oil, and heat them, put them in the powder coating oven, and get them powder coated black. I'll look around. There may be other stuff to powder coat from the car. I don't know yet. I'll have to look. But I think that's it for now. Okay, I thought I was going to be brilliant sanding away. This just did not want to come off. It's real rough, like they peeled the vinyl top off or something, and maybe they did. It could be glue. I thought it was maybe the POR treatment to keep it from rusting, but I put this premium stripper, but it's not like the old aircraft stripper. Put it on there. It looks like it's started to cut some of it. I think I'm just going to continue to sand it with 40 and 80 grit, get it all off of there. It's more work than I want to do. So I'll just sand slowly, take it all off, and get it primed after that. I did use just the sander across the front piece, the grill work there. Not bad. A couple little low spots. I'll sand that by hand and then get some priming going on. So that's my next steps, is just going to be sanding everything, where everything that's brand new metal. Of course, it's dirty. I'll clean it all real good and then start scuffing it for a primer. And that'll be my next thing. So till next time, bye bye.